Hi, my name is Ashley. I'm a nursing student at Mont St. Joe, and today we are going to be evaluating our friend Colin over here. And I would start off by performing hand hygiene as I walk into the room. And we're going to start off by doing a head to toe for him. This is his first assessment. So we're going to start off by taking his temperature. So I'd grab my thermometer and I'd place it under his armpit. And we'd want his temperature to read between 36.5 to 37.2 degrees Celsius, which is 97.7 to 99 degrees Fahrenheit. And it's important that you know both Celsius and Fahrenheit for temperature. My next vital I'm going to take is respirations. So I'm going to pull down his little thing here, pretend I have a watch on. We're going to go for a minute here, and I'm going to watch his respirations. Okay, we're gonna pretend that was a minute. His respiration rate should be between 30 to 60 breaths per minute. Now we're gonna cover that back up. We're gonna do his blood pressure right on his cuff right here, or you could do it right here. So his systolic should be between 65 to 85, and his diastolic should be between 45 to 55. There. And that is that. Next, we are going to get an O2 reading on his little hand right here. Put a little. His O2 reading should be between 90 and 92, and his is about 91, which looks good. Theirs aren't as high as adults. And now we're gonna get a heart rate on this guy. So we're gonna pull this down a little bit to where we can see his heart. Put on my stethoscope here. And we're gonna pretend that was a minute, but you want to listen at the apical point for a minute long, and his heart rate should be between 110 and 160 beats per minute. Then we're gonna wrap it back up there. Now we're gonna check his pulses. So we'll start with his little arms, trying to keep him as warm as possible. So we'll start here. His brachial pulses are +2 and palpable, so that's good. And you want to feel up for him for about a minute long. And then we're going to get his legs out here. His femoral pulses are +2 and palpable, so no abnormal findings with any of his pulses there, so we are all good with his pulses. So that is all good. Now we're going to move on to his head, which is super important. So with his head, we are going to assess his fontanelles and make sure that they're unossified. And it's okay too if sutures are crossing, but you just want to make sure that you don't see anything abnormal, like no abnormalness, and he is looking good. With the ears, the inner canthus of the eye should line up with the top part of the ear, which it does, so his ears look good. There's no pits, so his ears are looking good. With the eyes, there's no signs of strabismus or pseudostrabismus, which would make the eyes look crossed. So he's looking good there. His nose is super important because they're primary nose breathers. And so we would shine a pen light up his nose. and ensure that his noseways are breathable. So we're going to check his airways by ensuring that he's getting air. Okay, we see his chest rising, good. And good, we see his chest rising. Now, with his mouth, we notice that he is not tongue-tied, which is awesome because if he was tongue-tied, he would have problems with feeding. So that is good too. Now, along the neck, now onto the neck, we see no webbing, so that is good. And the trachea is also to midline, so we are good there. Now we're going to look at his nipples. So his nipples should be between 1 to 2 millimeters, and his chest has a circular appearance, which is good. And his chest circumference should be between 30 to 35. And to get that, we would just take out a tape measure. And at the time you're taking chest circumference, it's easy also to just get the head. So I'll also get the head. The head should be 32 to 37 centimeters there, which he's in that range. So he's good there. And then to get height, we'll just expose him real quick. Measure him out. It should be between 48 to 52 centimeters. And then we'll weigh him since he's exposed. Babies don't normally like being weighed, but we'll weigh him. His weight should be between 2,500 grams and 4,000 grams. There. From chest, we're going to move on to abdomen. His abdomen is rounded, which is good. We're going to give a listen to his quadrants. We start in the right lower. You're going to listen to each quadrant for a minute. I'm not going to listen to each one for a minute because we don't have time for that, but his bowel sounds are present, so that looks good there. And you also just too, when you're looking at the abdomen, you want to just take a look at the umbilical cord and make sure it has 3 vessels, which it does, so we're good there. Now we're going to take a look at his skin. His skin is good, it matches his ethnicity. We see no dryness, no cracks. There's no birthmarks. So he is all good there. No cyanosis is present. He is good. And now we're gonna go to his testicles. His testicles should be distended and palpable, and there should be no rugae. So his testicles look good. He should have 10 fingers and 10 toes, which he does it with no webbing. So he's looking good there. And while we have his feet out, we'll do his blood glucose test here. So we'll prick him in the back of the foot right here. His blood glucose should be between 40 to 80 milligrams per deciliter. So that is that. He looks good there. Now we're gonna check his extremities. So to check his extremities and keep him as warm as possible, we wanna make sure his hips are fully in place. So we're gonna go in, up, and in. Good. His hips look good. his arms up. We want to make sure they fall back down as they would if the towel wasn't there. We'll do it again. Up, down. Good. That was good. Now we are going to do his reflexes. So for his reflexes, we're going to start with the Maro, which is the one where I place him in my hand like this, and I don't drop him, I drop my hand just like that, and his arms should sprawl out, which they do, and that shows that he has that reflex, so we're good there. And the next one is walking, the walking reflex. It should simulate walking, and that reflex he has, so we're good there. Palmer grasps my hands, good. Planter grasps my fingers here, we're good. Rooting, you just want to tap their cheek and they should turn their head that direction. This is really good for breastfeeding, to determine what breast they're going to use, or even just to determine sucking of, even if they're going to be using a bottle if you're bottle feeding. So very good reflex. The next one we have is the tonic neck, which is, it's kind of hard to do on a doll here, but it's kind of like a fencer. So one arm's out, one leg goes in, and so one side goes in while one's out. So it kind of looks like a fencer. So that's how that one works there. And then Babinski is the one we're missing here. So Babinski, you go like this, and all the toes would go out like that. So he has that reflex too. So we are good with his reflexes there. And now we are going to check his spine to make sure it's intact. So I'm going to turn him over onto his back, hold him like this, ensure that his spine's intact, which it is. There's no curvature, it looks good. There's no signs of hair, which is good. So his spine looks really good. As I'm touching my face, I would be doing hand hygiene, by the way. So his spine is looking very good. And then we would wrap him back up. So we'll put him back in his little covers so he can rest and relax and wait to be held, right? There we go. And then I would go document and report any findings.